survivalistseeds.com by becoming an affiliate. See his link at survivalistseeds.com. Survivalistseeds.com.
As we've been trotted on the wine's press much too long.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're fighting the Babylon system with the Obama deception. Get it at Infowars.com. Get the super high quality DVD with the extras and support us, the filmmakers. You can get these as low as $8 a piece. And you get them in bulk at Infowars.com or watch it in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. Then you can watch this show live that we simulcast on the web every day. And Jason Burmas with the Info Warrior, 9 to midnight out of these studios and simulcast on the GCN radio network. Again, the Obama deception, the mask comes off, ladies and gentlemen, available at Infowars.com. Briefly, Webster, and then I want to get into the phony right-wing hypocrisy. They're for the bonuses, they're for the trillions, but they're not for Ford and GM, calling us socialist if we're for that. This is the height of arrogance, but your take on the Obama deception.
I think it's a masterpiece. I congratulate you and your team for putting it together. It's extremely powerful. It's extremely timely. It's the best political documentary to come out of the United States in years or decades, and I think it's going to have a tremendous effect in opening people's eyes. Mainly the idea that the Obama people are trying to set up this fake charade, right? That you can choose between Obama on the one hand and Rush Limbaugh and these reactionaries and union busters and what have you on the other. That's no choice. My response to Obama and Limbaugh is to say, a plague on both your houses. That's a Hobson's choice. That's where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. What this documentary does is to show there's another way out of this, another way to look at it. And above all, to strip Obama of left cover. He is an agent of Wall Street. You can see it today. He's carrying out a policy that's made up by Summers, Geithner, and indeed by Paul Adolph Volcker, right? One of the people who did the most to create this collapse of the auto industry is Volcker with a 22% prime rate. Going back 30 years ago. All right,
we're going to go over all that in the next hour. We're going to have until 45 after now, some extra time before you got to go catch your plane. But Webster, before we do that, specifically, we've been having private discussions about this. Here they are now approaching a bailout bigger than the entire GDP of the United States, or close to a third of the world GDP in less than 6 months. And Limbaugh and Obama are both for trillions to the banks. They divert us with the billions in bonuses. Limbaugh says he's for that. But what about the private shareholders who are really getting the lion's share of the trillions, not just the billions? And then they say, but you're a socialist if you want to help these evil, corrupt auto companies. And then there's endless discussions. It's a fad to bash the auto companies. And they're certainly not perfect, on the news and in the culture.
Yeah, I don't think auto is perfect. Wagoner was forced out last night, and I think Wagoner was forced out because he was somebody who grew up in General Motors, and he might have fought to defend the idea of having an industrial economy, right, of having jobs. So let's look at it again. AIG got $160 billion from the U.S. government. AIG, to bail out one hedge fund in London. They had created $3 trillion of derivatives. They're AIG Financial Products. Now, who got that money? About 10 to 12 billion went to Deutsche Bank of Germany, Societe Generale of France, and Barclays Bank of Britain. So that's about 35 billion for bankers in foreign countries. And that's the money. If you had that 35 billion, you could easily save Detroit for a couple of years. And generally speaking, 10 trillion for the banks compares to 20 billion for food stamps. So you can get $115 a month of food stamps if you're unemployed. If you're an individual or a family getting $250 a month in food stamps, Obama's going to raise that by about 10%. $40 billion goes to prolonging unemployment benefits, so you get a few more weeks on the dole. And at the same time, the trillions are flowing, and above all, a lot of the recipients are in foreign countries. If Barclays, Deutsche Bank, and Societe Generale are so important, how come Gordon Brown, Monsieur Sarkozy, and Madame Merkel don't save them and bail them out themselves? This is absolutely crazy. What we're being told is that globalized bankers and their web of derivatives across the world, again, it's 1.5 quadrillion of derivatives, are more important than the jobs of 3 to 5 million Americans. If you wipe out Detroit, the American living standard falls by about 25%. That would
Stay there. Back in 70 seconds.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Hello, friends. This is Alex Jones. I've told you for a long time it's important to be self-sufficient, and today that's more important than ever. We need to be independent, and food and water is the key. You'll never have to stand in a bread line if you have your own bread. You'll never have to go to the Superdome and beg for FEMA to take care of your family in any emergency if you simply prepare. No one is going to take care of your family in the final equation but you. You know eFoodsDirect.com is still able to ship storable food that's safe from E. coli, salmonella, genetic alteration, or Chinese imports. And they do it at almost half the cost of last year's grocery prices. Call 1-800-409-5633. Or on the web, go to eFoodsDirect.com. Visit eFoodsDirect.com and look over the fine list of high-quality, freeze-dried, and dehydrated foods they have to offer. Watch the free videos. Look at their online catalog. Or give them a call at 1-800-409-5633. Again, 800-409-5633. Or on the web at eFoodsDirect.com. Take action today. The first step is getting storable food.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Webster Griffin-Tyberly is our guest in studio for another 45 minutes, and we'll get updates from the shanty towns being converted to FEMA camps in California with two of our reporters on scene, Rob Dew and Jason Douglas. Okay, Webster, we were ranting during that 1 minute break. I mean, just in summation, I don't want you to break it down in your own words. Well, I mean, you go ahead. We were just talking about it. It's this incredible double standard.
It's absolute hypocrisy, absolute double standard. Obama's the greatest con artist of our time. He says to the auto industry, you guys have to prove viability. You have to show me a model that gets you profitable. They submit a plan, and he says, this is not good enough. I'm giving you 30 more days, or I'm giving you a little bit more time. Now, notice what happens. When Citibank needs $20 billion, they get it right away. They don't have to prove anything. They don't have to tell where the money is going. They don't have to say how many billions go for bonuses. They don't have to say how much of it goes to Dubai or other foreign countries. The duplicity of Obama couldn't be more evident. We had last week Geithner coming forward with another $100 billion, followed by really another $1 trillion for derivatives only. And now we're being told that the automobile industry has not gone far enough towards proving its viability. Remember these moments. And
the sharks are coming in saying, we're going to make you break down. We're going to take your pension funds. We're going to make you be sold out to foreigners, the scrap, the husk. And then meanwhile, unless you talk about this in your own words, then the banks flush with all this money. They won't even, money given to them, they won't even loan it to the auto industry.
Yeah. See, the whole point of the TARP, right, the bailout of last October, the original $700 billion, we were told, you've got to have a viable banking system to provide credit for the economy. Well, $700 billion has been put in, and Geithner is now promising up to another $1 trillion more. So that's almost $2 trillion. Now, I want to know, we're told that Chrysler and General Motors need financing. Where is J.P. Morgan Chase? They got $25 billion out of the TARP. Where is Citibank? They've been refinanced twice and counting. At least $40 billion has gone into Citibank. How come they're not lending to Ford and Chrysler and GM? How about Bank of America? The zombie banks are taking the money from the public till, and they're not lending it. I would also add these things like Circuit City, right? 600 stores, 35,000 jobs. Where were those banks that are cashing in on the TARP gravy train, right? The big bailout money. They're not lending. Why are we supporting these banks? The whole idea of this process, think about it at the beginning. We were told this is not a bailout of Wall Street. This is a bailout of Main Street. We want to make that money available to Main Street. Well, Detroit is Main Street. Detroit is everybody's Main Street. The Midwest industrial economy around the Great Lakes is the heart of this country. You rip that out, this country goes into thermodynamic collapse. Living standards will collapse. The level of morbidity and mortality in the population will skyrocket. In other words, millions of people will be on their way towards